Fire with Jared, and I'm so excited to have my next guest on, Kolby Kindle. Kolby has been in the touring production of The Wiz and to the Broadway production of The Wiz, and also in the off-Broadway production of The Play That Goes Wrong and many other touring productions. So, Kolby, thank you so much for joining.
Yes, thank you for having me.
It's so good to see you again. I know that we connected when I came down to Iowa, my home state, for The Wiz when it was pre-Broadway, because The Wiz is one of my favorite musicals, and
Oh, nice.
It didn't come to Minneapolis at the time, and so I was like, I'm going down to Iowa to see it. So they hooked me up, and then came down to see it, and yeah, so
Yeah, how
I
long is that
was.
trip from?
Oh, it's like a 3 hour straight shot
Oh,
drive.
that's
You're
not
on
bad.
like,
That's not
yeah,
bad at all.
you're on the road the whole time. And I have like family and friends that are in the area, so I was able to make a nice little trip
Yeah,
about with it and everything. But it was so excited to see it because I personally like to see, professional productions like the pre. So, like the pre-process and
of
everything,
course.
and especially to see that for one of my favorite musicals is like really exciting. So,
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
yeah, so we're gonna go back to the very beginning. I would like you to tell us what inspired you to pursue a career in the performing arts.
Well, I guess probably to be honest, church. I grew up going to church. My families was we were really big in the church, and I started singing in the choir and doing plays at church. I was in charge of the drama ministry, and so that's kind of where I started. And then when I was 8 years old, I my friend told me you should go audition for this production of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I was like, I want to say 11 or 12. And so maybe even younger than that, I don't remember, but I went and auditioned. It was my first like audition ever for a play, and I got the role
Yeah.
of Charlie. And then ever since then, it's just been, I got stung by the bug, and
Yeah.
it's just been, it's just been. And then I started going to the camps there, acting camps every summer, and then I started doing it after school. Became an after school thing, performing at schools and camps and things like that. And then I went to college for it, and then the rest is history, I guess.
The rest is history. Okay, that's so great. So Charlie and the Factory is what
Yeah, who
launched it
knew?
all. Yeah. Oh, fun. Um, what was the first like Broadway show that you saw?
Oh, first on Broadway itself, the show I saw was Spam-A-Lot. That was the first Broadway show I saw.
Okay. Okay.
And I was just, I mean, I grew up seeing like tours and things that would come through
Yeah. Oh,
Oklahoma.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
from Oklahoma, and I would see tours come through there. The first tour I ever saw was
Yeah.
Rent, but
Yes.
and that's when I was like, okay, this is something that I want to be serious about. But seeing Spam a
Yeah.
lot was like, oh my gosh, I was blown away by just the fact that these people do this 8 times a week. It's like, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
and I was just fascinated by creating that magic 8 times a week. And it's like, wait, more people going to get this same show tomorrow night. Like that was my,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's so awesome.
Mm.
When you were growing up, as a young performer, did you have any like influences or inspirations? And
Yeah.
who were they?
Well, I was a huge fan of comedians, like black
Oh,
comedians, like
yeah.
Martin Lawrence, Whoopi Goldberg, Eddie Murphy, like those were I grew up on watching them, and I watched every single movie they made, and I was just really drawn to comedy in that way. And
Yeah.
then that's how I kind of fell into the movie Sister Act 2, which I say is was kind of like what ignited
Okay.
my passion, because I was like, oh, you can be funny like Whoopi Goldberg, and then
Yeah.
also sing and dance and be young, and like all of that kind of snowballed into me realizing that it wasn't just acting. Oh, I could also sing and dance, which is, and
Yeah.
that's where musical theater came into play.
Yeah. Sister Act 2, one of my favorite
Right?
movies. The music is so good in that. That's one of my favorite movie soundtracks and everything.
Right. I
It's,
wore it out.
yeah. It's so good. That is so cool. So would you say, I don't want to say that you're more into, but was like comedic acting, was that like maybe your first kind of thing or favorite type of style or
Absolutely. Musical comedy is still my favorite style just
yeah.
because for me, comedy was a coping mechanism for me. Like I wasn't, I'm not gonna be like I was bullied as a kid. I wasn't really bullied, but I definitely didn't fit in with everyone.
Yeah.
Um, and laughter was my defense mechanism. Laughter is what got me through. And so I feel like that kind of just naturally bled over to my love for theater. I was like, oh, cracking jokes, being the comedic relief, that is kind of my therapy when I was a
Yeah.
kid. That's what got me through. And I think that's why I still lean towards that. It's like still healing that inner child. And with,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I'm always curious to hear this from artists. I ask all the artists this question.
Mhm.
If you had gone into a path, like a career that was not arts related, what do you think it would have been and why?
I definitely was wanting to be a veterinarian.
Okay.
I love animals, and I also randomly when I got like in high school, I was like, I want to be a massage therapist.
Yeah.
Like, and that was like something I was into. But it's just I just have always been on this path. And when the
Yep.
pandemic hit, it was kind of like, okay, what other skills you got? Because who knows when
Yeah.
this is coming back? And all that kind of started to come back to me. I was like, what was your passion before you found theater?
Yeah.
Or even while you were doing it, like what else did you have in mind? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm always fascinated by that to hear what other
Yeah.
people say because I've had people say like chef and like scientist, like just such different. And so it's really cool to hear, hear that. Also, can you tell us about like your training that you took in the classes or your studies and everything to become a professional actor and like what?
Well, yeah, like I said, I started doing like theater camps during the summertime when I
Yeah.
was a kid, and then that transitioned to me working as an apprentice at the local theater in Oklahoma City called Lyric Theater of Oklahoma. And I was 16, 17 when I
Oh,
started working as their apprentice. So what they would do, they would hire a couple of teenagers and pay us like, like $75 a week.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
with that, I was working with Broadway professionals because Lyric Theater is
Yeah.
a great theater and they always bring in like a New York name or someone on Broadway to come in and play like Dolly
Yeah.
and Hello Dolly or something like that. So that's where I started doing that, and then there was a school attached to it called Lyric Theater Gaylord Thelma Gaylord Academy, and that was like an after school program where I started
Oh,
taking voice lessons, dancing and acting lessons, and we would do a
wow.
show. And my teacher at the time, she told me, you can go to college for this, and I was like, huh? Like in my
Yeah.
mind, it was like, this is fun. This is what I'm doing for fun. I'm not gonna like you know, make a living out of like, it's just something I'm doing right now. And she was like, no, you should audition for colleges. And she was really the main person. Cindy was the main person who like encouraged me to audition and she prepared me for everything. So I flew to Chicago and went to the unified auditions where all the colleges meet.
Yep. Yep.
And I did my monologue, did my song, sang my song, and and dance and everything. And Otterbein College was one of the schools that were there and I was the last person they saw in Chicago. And he basically told me we would like you to come to Outerbound at my audition. And I was like, okay, let's see what the money's giving. And
Yes.
and
Yeah.
um, and they gave me a nice scholarship, and so I chose Outerbound for my BFA in musical theater.
Yeah. Great program. I hear. I didn't go there, but I hear great things about
Yeah,
it. So
great.
that's
It's a great school.
so great. What was your audition song back in the day? Do you remember what your audition song was back then?
Yeah, so for my up tempo, it was the song "I Like 'Em Fat Like That" from Five Guys Named Mo.
Okay.
I sang
Okay.
that for everything. Even like when I moved to New York, I was singing that for everything.
I don't know if I've heard of Five Guys Named Mo, but I'm not familiar with that song. So I'm gonna put that on my
Yeah, it's
list.
again, it was funny, and that's the thing. Not a lot of people were doing it, and that was my
Yeah.
teacher's main thing. She was like, "You want to go in there doing things that they're gonna hear over the beautiful morning like 20,000
Yes.
times. Go in there, do something different."
Yes.
But with that said, my ballot was "On the Street Where You Live," which is also
Oh,
overdone. But
yes.
those were the
Great.
two songs that I used for college auditions.
Yeah. So then currently then what would you say have your songs changed or do you use the same songs for auditions or do you use like what are your new ones that you use?
Now, oh my gosh, it's funny. I nowadays when I go into auditions, rarely I'm usually given the music for the show ahead of time. I'm usually just singing from the show that they provide.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
here lately, I've been singing "Rain" from Once on This Island,
Yes. Okay.
getting in my baritone bag.
Yes, yeah.
And what else? Oh, and I also recently sang "You Ought to Know" by Alanis Morissette,
Oh,
just to kind of
okay.
again shake things up, surprise people a little
Yes.
bit.
Yes, great song choices. Oh, that's
Yeah.
so fun. Um,
Mhm.
so I know you mentioned growing up, some of your influences, in television and film. Did you have any theater influences? And who were
Uh,
they?
Yeah, it was interesting growing up. I didn't see, I mean, of course, there were like Ben Vereen and like who's huge inspiration for me, but he was like the only
Yeah.
like black man I saw like really prolific in the music theater industry. And so he was like my main and still is to this day. Like
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of my style of performing comes from Ben Vereen and
Remembering.
being inspired by him. But like Norm Lewis, Brian Stokes Mitchell, like those were all the men that I like
Yes.
really admired growing up.
Yeah. Oh, I got
Nathan
chills.
Lane for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes. I met Norm Lewis a few years ago. He was here in St. Paul doing the Soldiers play
Okay, okay.
there. And so I met him because of like Broadway World and stuff. And oh, he was just the kindest, just down to earth. And I'm just like, I was just like starstruck, because I've just also admired
Yeah.
him and his work and such a fan. And I remember just being like, oh my gosh. And he just was like a big teddy bear, just so kind and just so, just, yeah,
Well,
gracious and
that's what I heard, and it makes
everything.
me like him even more. I've never met him
Yes.
personally, but
Yeah.
I've heard that he's that, and just to know that like your inspiration is also very a good person as well, on top of like
Yep.
being insanely talented, is very nice to hear.
Yes, 100%, 100%. Um, so these next couple questions we'll go with, what is your top favorite musical? I don't want to say, or top favorites. I know that can be a tough question, but like,
Oh,
what are
that's
your
hard.
top,
Yeah.
yeah, top favorites, we'll say. So you can give more than one, because I know picking one's pretty hard.
Okay.
So,
Oh my gosh. Little Shop of Horrors for sure.
yes.
If I, yeah, that's definitely up there. Hello Dolly. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. And Dreamgirls. Those are probably my top three.
Yes.
My top three for
Yes.
sure. Um, but I saw Cat's Jellicle Ball, and that just like ignited something in me. I was like, is this my new favorite music? 'Cause I've never been a huge fan of
Yes.
Cats, but
Right.
that
Yeah.
this version of Cats just did something to me, and I was just like, this is what Broadway is about, and
Yes.
it's up there for
Yeah.
me as not one of my top musicals of all time. Because like I said, Cats was not always been my favorite, but this production is definitely one of my top favorites.
Yeah, speaking of that, I've had a lot, I have not seen it, but I have a lot of friends here that saw it out in New York and everything, just raved about it. What about that musical? You know, if prior to, if you weren't like, the biggest fan of Cats, which I totally get,
Mm.
because I was kind of the same too, but like, what about this version of it like spoke to you? What did you enjoy about it?
I always say my favorite. I enjoy a show when I feel like the storytelling is clear, and I think that's
Yeah,
kind of what my issue was with Cats, is I never quite understood what was going on. But for
yeah,
some reason, with this show, it clicked for me what the show is about, what stories being told, but also just seeing Black queer representation on stage really um, made me feel like I was viewing history in the making, or like something very special. It wasn't just another Broadway show. It was a statement, and it was
yes.
packing a punch in that way. Yeah.
Yes, I had friends that said the exact same thing. I had one friend that said they just felt very valid and safe in that space. And just seeing that on stage was just like
Absolutely.
incredible.
Yeah.
So,
It's
yes,
important.
yes,
It's very important.
yes. I really hope they do a pro shot or something, because I don't think I'll be able to see it before it sadly closes. But
Yeah. I
I
mean,
heard,
I say we
yeah,
rally behind it, make it stay. What can
yes.
we do? What can we do?
What can we do? Take a tour, do a pro shot. We will support, we will raise. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah. What is some of your top favorite musical soundtracks and songs that you like to just sing, even if it's just for fun currently? I know you
Oh
said
my
your
gosh.
like recent audition songs, maybe just like listening to, or like what music, like new musicals are you like, I'm like I'm in this right now. So,
Yeah, I always say I go through phases. I go through my musical theater phases, and I like don't listen to musical. I don't listen to cast recordings for like months at a time. I'm on
right,
break.
right.
Um,
Yes,
but
no, I totally, yeah.
but there's certain songs that I like.
Yes.
even if I'm not crazy about the show, I still like the songs. I'm just like, that's the most beautiful song. Like, I think the music in Jekyll and Hyde is gorgeous.
Yes.
I think like A
Yes.
New Life, In His Eyes, gorgeous, gorgeous songs. One of my all-time favorite musical theater songs ever is What About Love from Color Purple.
Yes.
I just think it's one of the most beautiful songs ever written. Just in
Yes.
general, like musical theater aside, I just think it's so beautiful. What else? Any new music? I'm trying to think. What's new? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
have
Jellicle
I seen
Ball
anything
and
new? Everything I've seen has either been a jukebox musical
oh
or
yeah,
a
oh yeah.
revival.
Anything that you're like songs that speak to you or from
Oh
any
my
time
God.
really.
I mean, and Sondheim's always his music's always great.
Yes.
Um,
Yep.
Not a Day Goes By. Could I Leave You is one of my favorites.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I a couple weeks ago just saw just a community theater production of Jekyll and Hyde that did it near me, and I
Right.
just was like, I have to see this because um I like that I personally around me do not see that show done very often. And this community theater is so wonderful and it's just a great theater. And I was like, I was like, I want to see the story on stage again, just hear the dialogue and the story
Mm.
and the music and everything. So I'm glad that you said Jekyll and Hyde, 'cause that's
Yeah.
one of my top favorites as well. And
I
then
just think the music's gorgeous.
yes, yeah. And then Color Purple, I was like obsessed with. I saw the first tour of it because I've always been a fan of the book and the movie and everything, but
Obviously,
the
yeah, same.
musical, like, I had chills. I like saw it was just insane. And I was so bummed because the revival, when it happened, it was actually supposed to tour to St. Paul, and then it got canceled because of it was pandemic time.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
I
That
think they
little
just
thing.
stopped their tour, and I was so bummed 'cause I wanted to see that version of, the revival of The Color Purple and
It's
everything. But
fantastic. It
I
was absolutely
love
fantastic.
yeah, that musical, I just remember when I saw it the first time, like, every time I see it, actually, I just got chills from just the music and the singing and just the story and the energy I remember watching when I saw it. I just was like,
Yeah.
this musical is so good. See, and like, I love that song too. I also am such a fan. I've always loved Miss Celia's Pants. I just think it's a fun. I just love that one.
Yes,
I
it
also
comes
love
at
the
the
color.
perfect time in Act Two, too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and
Uh,
I also love just like the Color Purple song even and I'm Here of course like I just it's so good. And
mhm.
speaking along those lines, so how important for you, especially from some of the things you mentioned, like how important is representation in the theater space for you?
I think it's very important. I think it's theater is a reflection of the society it's in. I think it's and if you are going to reflect society, you have to have society in it. Like
Yeah,
you can't say we're going to showcase humanity and only have certain types of humans.
yeah,
And I think that you should always make sure that someone is being seen or felt or feel like they're being seen. And
yeah,
I've always said like you can only do so much with a certain demographic. You have to reach out. You have to, and that's what makes theater powerful, right?
yeah,
You are learning something new. You're
yes,
seeing and hearing a new story. So if you are only using a certain type of person, then you're only getting a certain type of story, and that's not exciting. That's not lucrative. That's not
yeah.
that's not what theater's about.
Absolutely. And I mean, like living here in the Twin Cities, I've been so grateful for the amount of theater that's here and the diverse like so there's a Black theater company, there's an Asian theater company that do specific stories for like Asian stories and Black stories and Hispanic.
Mm,
It's been so great to see works like that
mm,
being exposed in our community here in the Twin Cities. So
right.
that is absolutely amazing. And I'm excited because maybe Happy Ending, which I have not seen yet, but it's coming here in October, and that's an
Yeah,
AAPI story.
of
And
course.
for me, like, being Asian American, I'm so excited to see that story told on stage at that level. Is
Right.
I'm super excited to see, and
Yeah.
I've heard great things about it too,
I
and
saw it.
so
I saw
yeah,
it. It's a beautiful show. And like you said,
yeah,
that representation is so important because
hmm
even I learned something about
yeah,
the culture. And that's the point. Like
yeah,
why are we only seeing things that like that we already know about. Like, why not go in
Exactly.
and educate yourself on something new and
Yeah,
let it wash over you? And that's maybe Happy Ending really does that very well. It does not make any apologies. Um it does not try to spoon feed anything. It's like
yeah.
go on this journey with us. And I like it when you kind of make the audience go with you.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Because for me, it's going to be so great seeing that story told without any like stereotypes, is what it
Exactly.
sounds
That's
like.
stereotypes make people comfortable, right? People, if you don't know,
Hmm.
you like, oh, I want to see that stereotype, so I feel comfortable about not knowing,
Yeah,
but that's not fair to the artist. That's not also not
yeah.
fair to you. You're not educating yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm really looking forward. I've heard great things about that musical. And obviously, it was a Tony winner, and just to see, for me, to see that representation in all those, aspects and
Beautiful show.
spaces, I'm so excited. I've just heard
Gorgeous.
nothing but great things. So that I totally
Yeah,
feel you. And
I think you'll
yeah,
enjoy it. I really and I hope you get something out of it seeing that representation for yourself because it
yeah,
really is special. It's a great show.
yeah, absolutely. Can you talk to us about your national tour experiences? Like, what I know I'd like touch base, but like, what shows you were in on the
Oh,
tours?
so I've done 7 tours.
Yeah.
Uh, my first tour was Beauty and the Beast. Um, I was ensemble understudy Cogsworth and Maurice, the father, and
Okay.
Monsieur Dark. Then the second tour, right after that, like that, the tour happened like a month after I finished that contract. I went on tour with Dreamgirls, playing Marty.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, how was that? Just being in
great
that
show.
show. Cecily
It
Swimmers.
that was the version that played at the Apollo Theater, and I think they were
Okay.
thinking about bringing it to Broadway, but it didn't work out. But I met some of my closest friends on that tour. It was,
Yes.
and that was both Beauty and the Beast and Dreamgirls were both non-union tours. For the people who don't know, they are tours that don't have equity actors. And so at that time, I was young and I was just excited to be on tour.
Yeah.
But the schedule was very hard on non-union tours. It's very like
Yeah.
one-nighters. You're going from a different city every night, which is challenging. Like at the age I am now, I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I don't know if I could do that. But and the
Right.
people who were my age on that tour, I still don't see how they did it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
um, at that time, I was like, I'm just happy to be performing, and I'm happy to be doing what
Yeah.
I'm doing, and I was very happy.
Yeah.
But and doing a good show, like that was it was a good show because the talent
Yeah.
was unbelievable. I don't know if you know, I don't know if you know Charity Angel Dawson, who is like a Broadway legend,
Yes.
was our Effie at
Yes.
the time.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
And it was like,
Goosebumps.
and I remember she opened her mouth in rehearsal, and I said, "Oh, okay, well, she's about to go places like after this."
Yes.
But yeah, after
Yeah.
Dreamgirls was Sister Act tour. I
You.
played Curtis, the boyfriend, the villain. Uh,
Yes.
and then I left, and then when I that same tour went to Japan. So, well, no, first Dreamgirls went to Japan
Okay.
after, and then after that I did Sister Act, and then Sister Act went to Japan. So I went to Japan
Yes.
twice. And then after Sister Act was Sister Act, Book of Mormon. That was when I got my equity card, and I was ensemble understudy general
Oh
and
yeah.
Mapala.
Okay.
And then after that tour, I went on waitress tour, where I was ensemble understudy Cal and Joe.
Okay.
And then after that, that's when I got the call to go to Australia to do the Australian tour of Come From Away, where I played
Yep.
Bob and others.
Yes.
And then after that tour was the Wiz tour. And and I did that for 6 months, and then we went to Broadway. So yeah, a lot of
Yes.
touring, a lot of touring.
Yes. Do you have any I don't want to ask like your favorite show, but do you have any favorite memories from any of those tours? And then also, do you have any funny mishaps that you can share that maybe just flukes around stage? I know, that you
Oh my God,
remember.
how a lot. But I don't know. Touring for me, I find it I just enjoy just seeing the country and like how different like this is a huge country, and seeing how different people are and regionally how people do things, accept things. There were certain cities I felt safer in, certain cities I didn't. But I just that was my favorite part of tour, was just going to a
Yeah.
city and being like, okay, what's the museum here? What is the touristy thing to do. And I got to do all of that. I've been to every state in this country except for Hawaii, you know? And that was just only due to
Yeah.
being working. So I think that's my favorite part is being able to go to each city and meet the locals and people who
Yeah.
love who come and see the show because they met me at a coffee shop, like stuff like
Yeah.
that. But one of the funny mishaps was on Book of Mormon when I forget what city we were in, but I had this like dreaded wig.
Yeah.
And sometimes you go to cities and the people who are local are sometimes learning how to work with wigs, and
Yeah.
it's not their strong suit. Well, the person who put my wig in didn't pin it correctly. So during Hasadiga, I'm dancing, I'm charging down
Yeah.
stage, and I'm like, and being bald, whenever I have a wig, I'm like using the wig. Like I'm
Yes.
excited to
Oh, a
finally have
hundred
hair.
percent. Yeah.
And I'm like swinging that wig around, and it went
Yeah.
poof, and flew off my head into someone's lap in the front row.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Did you like laugh at all? Or were you just kind of like, I'm just gonna keep
Oh,
going? I mean, I probably
the
had to
thing
keep
is,
going,
you
but
want one thing about me, I'm a laugh on stage. Like
yes. I mean that yeah,
I'm
that's
going to
yeah.
break. That is
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so I couldn't finish the number. I cracked. I walked off.
Oh,
But
100. Yeah.
I was like, I can't do this. This is hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one that always sticks out for sure.
I love hearing about those just because, like, as an audience member, probably nobody notices unless, unless the wig falls on the beat. Like,
Oh, and
a
they
lot of stuff you
definitely
don't
don't.
catch. And then I've had people tell me about their mishaps. I'm like, I probably never would have saw that. Like, everyone just, professional actors just covered those things very
Yeah,
well.
we
And
tried to anyway.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Dreamgirls, though, so that's so cool that you were in Dreamgirls and Sister Acts. Those are, yeah, two of my other favorite musicals. And like, I just think about the role of Effie and like doing that 8 times a week. I don't know how. Like, because
Yeah.
isn't it coming? It's coming to Broadway. It's coming back to Broadway, correct? Did I?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I heard. And
Yes.
yeah, Effie is a beast of a role. And
Yes. And I'm like,
going back
how?
to Charity, like we were on a non-union tour, so it was a lot of one-nighters, and she was
Yeah.
getting up and singing the crap out of that score every night. And she had an alternate named Lydia, and Lydia was amazing. And
Yeah.
but like it was just like I don't see how. Even like Sister Act, like the role of Dolores is not an easy
Yes.
sing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
easy saying, and our Dolores was unbelievable, and she had an alternate who was also fantastic. But it's just like
Yeah.
people don't realize this. It's not easy,
No.
It's very hard.
Yes. Yes.
And yes, that's what we sign
Absolutely.
up for, and we love it. But it's like it's
It's
not.
work.
It's
Yeah.
work. It's work.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you talk to us about the play that goes wrong and then like your experience on The Wiz on Broadway?
Yeah. Well, I got the play that goes wrong right after I got back from Australia with Come From Away. And it was I love that play. I saw the play on
Yeah.
Broadway and I fell in love with it. And it was seriously one of my favorite plays. It still is one of my favorite plays.
Yeah.
Um, and I was talking to my agent and I was like, I love musical theater. It's my passion, but I'm also like I said, a comedic actor. I enjoy
Yes.
a good script. I enjoy doing a play, a solid play. And so when I
Hmm.
got this audition, it was like, I really, really want this. Like, I really, really want this. And I was doing the concert tour in Canada of Come From Away, and I got a call from my agent saying I got Trevor and Play That Goes Wrong, and I was so happy. And I joined, and and I'm still there. I'm on a break right now, but I'm still I did the show for about a year, and then I left to do The Wiz. Um,
Oh yeah.
and I left because I was like I'm making my Broadway debut in The Wiz. I
Yes.
really want to take this, and
Yes.
they were so gracious, and they let me
Yeah.
do that. And like The Wiz was just obviously life changing in terms of me achieving a goal that I didn't wasn't for sure I would achieve.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. How so like tell us more about the Wiz and everything. Well, actually, so the play that goes wrong, I have not seen that personally yet. Did they make that into a movie or am I making that up in my head? I feel like
No,
did
what it
they?
is, Mischief Comedy, they have recordings of it because it started on the West End, and there are a lot of
Okay.
recordings of that production, which is a
Okay.
little different than what has become, which is the play that goes wrong. But
Yes.
they have Peter Pan goes wrong, they have Christmas Carol goes wrong, they have all these,
Oh,
but this
that's
is the
okay.
original play that opened on Broadway, and now it moved to off Broadway, and it's been the longest running uh, comedy
Yes.
play in New York City.
Okay. Okay, I want to, because yeah, I have not seen that play. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. And so, but I was like, I feel like there
Great.
was like recordings or something or a movie or whatever. But yeah, I'll have to like see if I can look some of those up. And
Yeah, and it's a crowd pleaser. That's why it's still running. Like we still are
yeah,
packing houses, and few people walk away from it disappointed. Like it's
yeah,
just you cannot watch that show and not laugh. And if you don't laugh, I think you should check your soul. Like what's
yeah,
going
yeah,
on? Like
yeah.
it's just so easy to watch, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us about your Broadway debut. Do you remember when you got the call, like where you were at the moment, and like how did you react and everything? And tell us
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
it all happened very fast. I got the call on I want to say Monday that my audition was going to be on a Wednesday.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And it was to ensemble understudy The Lion and the Wiz. And I went in to be the gatekeeper.
Yep.
So I went into the audition on that Wednesday, and I got a call back on that Thursday to dance, and then the Friday to come back and sing for the producers and everyone. And by that Monday, I was working out at Planet Fitness on the
Yes.
treadmill, and my
Yep.
agent called me and was like, you got the role, gatekeeper, ensemble understudy, Lion and the Wiz." And I just ran out of the gym crying. I just remember I was at
Yeah.
the Planet Fitness on 54th, and I just
Yeah.
ran out. I left everything in the locker, and I just ran out and called my mom first thing, crying.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, how was like tell us about the experience of being in that show and like making your Broadway debut and like working with the amazing Deborah Cox as well as the other amazing cast members that were in that production. Um, for me, I also was a Deborah Cox fan just as a solo
I
artist and
mean,
everything.
obviously, like
Yeah,
you
I
have to be,
saw,
yeah.
yeah, because I saw her, she performed at a Pride here in the Twin Cities one year. She performed at Pride. I'm just always been a fan of
Mhm.
her music. And then she was back again for The Bodyguard, I think. She was in the Bodyguard musical. And then so for me to see her again in The Wiz was like, oh my gosh, like and to see her in one of my favorite musicals was just
Yeah.
whole thing. So how like was working with her and the rest of the amazing cast of The Wiz and being on
Yeah.
Broadway and everything.
It was surreal. It was a whirlwind. The interesting thing about that experience was that we went on tour first. The show
Yes.
toured first, which is not doesn't happen a lot where show
Yeah.
tours and then goes to
Yeah.
Broadway.
That's
Uh,
yeah.
and so with that, it was like we were just kind of working, creating, making things,
Yeah.
changing things up until we got to Broadway. But it was just in my mind, Black excellence all around when it came to the cast. Like I
Yeah.
could go through every single cast member and be like, "Yep, I understand why you're here. I
Yes.
understand why you're here. I understand."
Yeah.
It just felt like
Yeah.
excellence, and it was just kind of like we all knew that it was something special because like you like people love the Wiz, and
Yes.
so. Uh, when I found out that I was going to be understudying Alan Mingo and Wayne Brady as the
Yes.
Wiz, who two men
Yeah.
that I have admired since I was a kid
Yes. Yep.
in this industry, and then Deborah Cox, who is a queen and like
Yes.
solid, just 8 times a week. Like we're talking about the 8 times a week saint, just like it's like effortless for her. She
Yeah.
is the definition of a star
Yep.
and a sweet human being. But when it came to the cast, it was just we all were just so close,
Yeah.
and that's what helped with tour because tour is hard. And then
Yeah.
when we got to Broadway, it was like okay, it was like the finish line. We made it,
Yes.
So
Yeah.
there was a sense of like yes, I'm making my Broadway debut, but it's also like I'm making it with the show I've been doing for 6 months, which is kind of weird.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's kind of
Yeah.
like yes, I'm. This is huge, but I've been doing it for so long, so it doesn't feel that new, but it is new.
Yeah.
Uh, it was that kind of thing. And like I said, tour is hard. So when you get to the finish line, which was Broadway, which I
Yeah.
was kind of tired, but very excited and
Yeah.
very grateful. And I'll never forget it. It was unreal.
Yeah, I remember when they announced it was coming back to Broadway, or that was gonna. And then I remember them like, oh, we're gonna do tour first, and like you said, that doesn't happen too often. And I was like, oh my gosh, I hope it comes to Minneapolis. Well,
Mhm.
then Minneapolis like announced their season, it wasn't on there, and I was like, oh shoot. And then Iowa announced their season. I'm like, I'm going down to Iowa, like I'm making this a trip, and like, cause like yeah, I love The Wiz, and like I was gonna ask you like, what do you think of what do you think it is about The Wiz that makes it so beloved by many? Like, what do you think it is about that musical and that story and everything?
Well, I think Yeah, it's the Wizard of Oz, which we all like. Who
Yes.
doesn't love the Wizard of Oz? I think that's the main thing. We love that story.
Yep.
And then you add the aspect of it being an all black cast. So for people like me, like growing up, it's just a rite of passage. You watch the Wiz. Like in a
Yeah.
black household, you put on the Wiz.
They put on
Like
this. Yep.
you know the lines, you know the song.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like just ingrained in my life and in my
Yeah.
culture. But I think more than anything, it's just Black joy. And I think
Yeah.
that I always go back to this. I just always think that we don't see enough of that. And I think when The Wiz came out, it wasn't like, oh, we all so sad and
Yeah.
like, life is hard and trauma, trauma, trauma. Like, which is
Yeah.
also stories that need to be told. But I think what The Wiz did is show that we as Black people can be silly and fun and wacky and
Yeah.
dance from a place of joy and not just, be uh the secondary character to
Yes.
and when we are funny, it's to enhance this other character and make so they can shine. But this was ours, and I think
Yeah.
that's what made The Wiz what it
Yeah, because
is. Yeah.
I saw the tour again. It came to the Minneapolis this last season, so I saw Alan afterwards. We were chatting and everything. I was like, oh, yeah, I saw you in the pre-tour
Alan.
as
Yeah.
well. Yes, yes, he was incredible. What was your favorite songs in The Wiz, or top favorites, I should say? And I'll tell you
Um,
mine.
No Bad News, obviously. Melody
Yes,
Betts,
yes,
unbelievable,
yeah,
groundbreaking. What is that? If I Could Feel That the Tin Man Sings, Phil
yes, yeah,
ate that song up. And I really enjoyed doing Y'all Got It. That was the end of
yes,
Act Two.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What were yours?
I mean, Home, obviously,
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
and Believe in Yourself. I mean, all the songs are so great, but like, Home was just one that I've just always loved. I also love, and I forgot, I'm blanking on the name, the one that Aunt sings at the beginning.
Feeling We Once Had.
Yes, yeah, I like
Hmm.
that one. And then I love Glinda's Believe in Yourself song, of course.
Of
But I
course.
also love Ease on Down the Road as one of
Of
my
course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
favorites. And then I also love listening to, but watching the Emerald City sequence.
Hmm.
I
Wow.
just every time I see that production of it, I love that moment of just seeing
It's so
that, like,
special
yeah, I love it in the
because
movie. I loved it on stage. Like, I just
yeah,
always
because that
love them.
we went through so many versions of that. From
Yes.
because I started with the choreography workshops. That's how we started,
Yeah.
and just the versions that we went through with different music and just trying to make it as authentic and real as possible to today,
Yeah.
to our culture. Like we kind of, I think the intention was to kind of showcase different types of Black culture through dance and entertainment. So a
Yes.
little bit
Yeah.
of African, a little bit of hip hop, a little bit of
Yeah.
breakdance, and a little bit of everything. And yeah, that was truly a highlight of the show for sure.
Yeah, I was so excited when it went on tour pre-Broadway and then Broadway and then toured again. Because I'm like, you have to see this show. It's just so good. It
Yeah.
was just I'm just so glad that it also went across the US and
Mhm.
everyone got to experience it and see it, because
Yeah.
everybody here was like raving about it when they saw that. When I saw them at the afters after opening night and everything, they were just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Um and it was neat to hear there were young, like, Black students that were attending, just that it was so cool to see, again, representation on stage and such a great iconic story.
Yeah.
So just see that
No, that
that influenced them, because I think one of the actors when they came here also did like a dance workshop with them as well.
that makes
So
sense. Yeah. And
yeah.
seeing those little girls like just be like,
Yes.
I'm Dorothy, and like
Yes.
when
Yep.
Nichelle, hey Nichelle, shout out to her.
Yeah.
When she would go out the stage door and those little girls dressed up as Dorothy, I just like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's what
Yes.
like it's like that's what it's about, the
That's
representation. That
it
was what we were
is.
talking about.
Representation
Yeah.
is important. Yes, absolutely. Is there a part of theater, like a path that you have not explored yet that you were like, you know what, I'd like to try that, whether it be like lights, technic, like directing, producing. Is there something that you have not done yet in the theater industry yet that you're like, I would like to give that a shot at some point?
Directing for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, choreography, directing. I work with Atlantic Theater Company on there as one of their teaching artists, and I've kind of started to dib dab in a little directing, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this I love this, and I'm
Yes.
starting and like I always think like I need to go to college for to get a master's in
Yeah.
directing for even to be considered, but or to be good at it. But
Yeah.
I've been doing this my whole life, and I
Right.
think that oh, it comes naturally to me, and it's a
Yeah.
lot easier than I thought it would be.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
like both sides of the stage and everything. And it
for
sounds
sure.
like, from what you mentioned earlier, you had a lot of good experiences, like as a young actor and everything, a lot of good exposure to like seeing theater and working in it at such a young age too.
Really. And my
So
parents were
it's,
so great. My parents
yeah,
exposed me to theater because they love theater. And so
yeah,
they basically my dad would be like, "Oh, I got tickets for us to go see a chorus line at." I'm like, "Oh, okay, great," you
yes,
know. So I was
yeah,
exposed to it all. And then in college, when I like we to graduate, you have to kind of take a directing class, take a choreography class, lighting,
yes,
sound, you gotta do
yeah,
all of that. And
yeah,
that I think it's important for every actor to know, not just be focused on their artistry as an actor, but realize it takes a village to make a show
yeah,
happen. And when you kind of just at least see it or learn about it, you start to
yes.
appreciate everyone who's involved.
Absolutely, because I studied musical theater in school, and I was like thinking about like if I were to go back and I could choose like a different theater path, and I was telling a few other people this on here that I would love to do dramaturg, like be a
Oh,
dramaturg. That's
yeah.
one that I'm like if I could go back now and do that, like that's what I would want to go down because I just love researching and just make
You
sure.
don't see a lot of it either
Yeah, like I just love like
anymore.
now like researching and making sure that stories are like authentic and true and all of that.
Yeah,
So
that's
again,
awesome.
representation go back
Of
for
course.
so
Where'd you go to school?
so I did my undergrad. I went to two schools. I was at Millikan University,
All
and
right.
then I went to school in
Oh,
Northern
nice.
Iowa, UNI.
Oh,
So
awesome.
yeah,
With
yeah.
theater, major in theater.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. And so yeah, but I was like looking back, I'm like, oh, if I were to do this again, or if I were to now go down a different path, it would definitely be dramaturg.
Yeah, for
So
sure, for
I
sure.
just love researching and like even after I go to shows, if there's a spot that I didn't like catch, or if I'm like, you know what, I'm more intrigued to hear more about this, like I'll go and like look it up and research and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
deep dive and go down rabbit holes and everything. So that's what I love. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So
great.
what is your advice for young aspiring theater professionals? What advice could you give them?
Um, yeah, I always say just be you. Like, and I always say like be a sponge, and by that I mean make sure you're taking things in. Like like as a kid, people would be like, "You're so talented, you're so good, like you're so this." And yes, I think I was at the time. I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I have something to offer,"
Yep.
but I wasn't great until I started learning.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing like my best work until I
Yeah.
started listening and watching and observing and absorbing um
Yes.
other talent. And to move throughout this business thinking that you already know it all is like the worst thing you can do, I think, as an artist. So I would say
Yes.
always be willing to learn and always be willing to grow. Don't get comfortable.
Yep.
And also just be you and know that you are enough. You don't need to be like anyone else. They're not going to cast you if you're trying to be like someone else because that person already exists.
Yep.
Be you and your uniqueness, whatever might get made fun of, whatever people make you feel weird about, that's what's going to be your
Yeah.
superpower. Yeah.
Yes, yes, great advice. What dream roles do you still have on your list that you would like to play and like be, or like what shows would you still want to be a part of?
Oh my gosh. I wanna be Sweeney and Sweeney Todd. Like
Yes.
that yeah. I also want to create something. Like I want to like originate a role. I've
Yeah.
been saying like I want there to be a musical of Coming to America. I want them to
Yes.
make that a musical, and I would love to play Hakeem. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of I want a leading comedic black male role. And
Yes.
but also like Sweeney Todd. I played one of my dream roles, Lumiere and Beauty and the Beast. I did that a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Um, oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't
you've
know.
been in so many great shows already, but yeah,
Yeah.
I wondered
No,
like,
I
have
mean,
you
I'm
any
sure
other?
there's many, but yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. Something like that. Funny, original. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
Mm.
Well, Colby, that is all that I have for today, and I'm so glad that you were able to make the time and
Of
everything.
course.
Oh,
Thank
and
you
I
for having me.
also, yeah, and I also, oh my gosh, I didn't want to forget this too, but you're currently in a production,
Hmm.
Come From
I'm
Away.
yeah, I'm doing Come
Yeah.
From Away at Main State Music Theater. We are rehearsing right now. So I'm taking a break from Play That Goes Wrong and doing this, and then I'm back in Play That Goes Wrong at the end of next month.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm loving it. Like I said, this show is like it's so special to me and it keeps
Yeah.
finding me. And like I just every time I get a chance to do it, I will probably say yes because I just think
Yeah.
it's a gift. It's a gift to do this show.
A
Truly.
great musical, great
Hmm.
musical. So yes, and where is it playing at again? I'm so sorry.
Main State Music Theater in Brunswick, Maine.
All right, so anyone that's listening, if you're out in Maine, go check
Come
it
see us.
out.
Come
Yes,
see
come
us.
see it. So awesome. Well, thank you so much, Colby, for coming on
Thank you, Jerry.
today.
Yes,
We'll
it's so
chat
good
with,
to see you.
yes, we'll chat with you soon.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.